Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Concerns over Stella Maris opening after parent positive for COVID. Some parents of students attending the Stella Maris Preparatory School in Shortwood, St. Andrew, are up in arms with the administration over the decision not to close the institution after the parent of two students returned a positive COVID-19 antigen test. Rather than closing the entire school, as was the case with several other schools where there were suspected or confirmed cases of COVID-19 recently, the decision was taken by Stella Maris to suspend the classes in which the two students who are said to be asymptomatic are placed. In a letter to parents/guardians on Thursday evening, the principal of Stella Maris, Sister Mary Joseph, informed that she had just been informed that a parent who has two children attending the school received a positive antigen test result today, Thursday, for the COVID-19 virus. The test was done on Wednesday. The students are from Grade 2 Alan and Grade 6 Richards. They last attended school on a Monday and the other on Wednesday. Both children are asymptomatic, not displaying any symptoms of COVID-19. They will remain at home for 14 days and will need to submit a doctor's certificate to the school before they return, said the letter. Sister Joseph noted that in keeping with the guidelines from the Ministry of Health and Wellness, all students from Grade 2 Allen and Grade 6 Richards will also isolate at home and attend classes online for 2 weeks starting on Friday, February 5th. All other classes will remain open for face-to-face classes, she further informed. The principal also expressed her gratitude to the parents for their quick and responsible action in informing us and withdrawing the children from school immediately on the suspicion of their exposure to COVID-19. Efforts to contact Sister Joseph on Friday were unsuccessful as calls placed to the schools were not answered. However, parents have expressed that out of an abundance of caution, the school should be closed. I think they should close the school until at least the Ministry of Health comes and give the go-ahead that it is safe to reopen the school, one concerned parent noted. The decision by the Stella Maris administration to keep classes open appears to be a departure from recent incidents where several schools were closed for deep cleaning and sanitization for up to 2 weeks or more in some instances when students, staff, or close relatives of students have tested positive for COVID-19. In a statement in the Parliament on January 26, Education Minister Favour Williams disclosed that 8 of the 216 schools that were approved for face-to-face classes were impacted by suspected or confirmed cases of the coronavirus. Among them was Donald Quarry High School in St. Andrew, which had a suspected case of a student being infected with the coronavirus, which was later confirmed by a positive test. The school was closed on January 21 for sanitization and psychosocial intervention, and the Ministry of Health and Wellness advised that the school should remain closed until it had completed contact tracing. Williams told the House that Penwood High, which is also located in St. Andrew, had a staff member who tested positive, resulting in the closure of the school for deep sanitization. The school was scheduled to reopen for face-to-face classes on February 1. All individuals who came in contact with the positive case were quarantined. In Region 2, which comprises St. Mary, St. Thomas, and Portland, the St. Mary High School delayed its reopening plans after a senior member of the administrative leadership team was exposed to the virus. The staff member was quarantined. This member's spouse tested positive, and the board decided to delay the reopening for a later date, Williams said. In Region 5, which is made up of Manchester and St. Elizabeth, 4 cases of COVID-19 were reported. 1 at Sydney Pagan High School, 1 at Fuller's Wood Primary and Infant School, and 2 cases involving parents at Monroe College. A student at Sydney Pagan High tested positive for COVID-19 on January 13, after which the school was closed. It was scheduled to reopen on February 1, nearly 3 weeks later, following sanitization and psychosocial activities. Fullerswood reported a teacher testing positive for the coronavirus, and the school was closed on January 14. The school was reopened on January 20 following deep cleaning, said Williams. As it relates to Monroe College, the Ministry of Health and Wellness informed that 2 parents of students who traveled to school tested positive for COVID-19. As such, face-to-face learning has been suspended for the students who travel to school until the contact tracing, sanitization, and psychosocial activities are completed. These students have resumed remote learning activities. Face-to-face will continue for boarders, Williams added. She said that as a matter of caution, the Ministry of Health and Wellness has notified Monroe and Hampton that the students/boarders who had left for the weekend must be quarantined upon return for 14 days before they are allowed to re-engage in face-to-face activities. 4 men held, gun, cash, bike seized in quick response police operation. 4 suspected criminals, including a suspect in a double murder investigation, were arrested by the police during a cross-division operation that was coordinated by the Police Emergency Communications Center on Friday. An illegal gun, cash, and several cell phones the police believe were stolen by the suspected robbers were also seized, along with 2 motorcycles. The operation began shortly after 9:30 a.m. when a woman who was robbed in the Gardena Avenue area of Mona Heights, St. Andrew, made a report to the Matilda's Corner police. The Police Emergency Communications Center, PECC, utilizing Jamaica Eye resources, coordinated a response with police teams in the St. Andrew Central and Kingston Eastern divisions. Less than a half hour later, about 10:25 a.m., the suspects were intercepted in Vineyard Town, Kingston 3. The following were seized from the men who were arrested: a Heckler & Koch 9mm pistol, along with 14 9mm rounds of ammunition, 200,000, 2 motorcycles, 9 cellular phones. One of the men is believed to be a suspect in a double murder that took place in Papine, St. Andrew last year. The men's identities are being withheld pending further investigations. Following the development, the police have appealed to the members of the public who were robbed on Friday, February 5th in Mona Heights or its environs to contact the Ellington Road Police at 876-928-4200. 24-year-old charged for triple murder in Kingston. A man has been charged in relation to a gun attack in Kingston last month that claimed 3 lives and left 2 other persons injured. 24-year-old Shavar Evans, otherwise called Dada, a laborer of Eddie Lane, Kingston 4, has been charged with 3 counts of murder, 2 counts of shooting with intent, and illegal possession of firearm in relation to the incident along Prince of Wales Street on Sunday, January 17. The deceased have been identified as Raheem Brown, 21-year-old of John Street, Connie Foster, 20-year-old, otherwise called Big Red, of Lord Eldin Street, and Marvin Livingston, 20-year-old, otherwise called Diamond, of Prince of Wales Street, all in Almond Town, Kingston 4. Reports are that about 7:15 p.m., the deceased and 2 other men were standing on the roadway having a drink when they were pounced upon by gunmen traveling in a motor car who opened fire, hitting them. The police were alerted and all 5 men were taken to the hospital, where Brown, Foster, and Livingston were pronounced dead and the other 2 men admitted for treatment. Following an intense investigation by the police, Evans later turned himself in. He was subsequently charged after being interviewed in the presence of his attorney. His court date is being finalized. Restorative justice, a useful tool to minimize reprisals, says senior cop. Inspector of Police Rochelle McGibbon Scott is hailing restorative justice as a useful tool in helping to minimize reprisal when a crime is committed. An alternative dispute resolution method, restorative justice, works to mend relationships broken by conflict using a series of conferences involving victims, the accused, and at times community members. It focuses on holding the offender or offenders accountable in a more meaningful way. The objective is to repair the harm caused by the offense, help to reintegrate the offender or offenders into the community, and achieve a sense of healing for both the victim and the community. McGibbon Scott said that reprisals or acts of retaliation after a crime has been committed are often a response by persons who feel that the wheels of justice turn too slowly. Sometimes for victims, they are not satisfied that the police is doing enough to expedite the matter, and this is where restoration justice comes in, she noted. So when we have, for instance, a case of unlawful wounding or assault occasioning bodily harm, where someone would have inflicted a wound on someone and we do the referral, the restorative justice process would ensure that the conflict does not escalate, said McGibbon Scott. She was speaking during the Ministry of Justice virtual Restorative Justice seminar on Thursday, February 4, under the theme, Working Together for Healing and Restoration. During her presentation, Scott said the use of the alternative dispute resolution method had also bolstered the police general crime prevention efforts. She said there are strong elements of community involvement in the process, noting that the restorative justice facilitates visit the communities and invite persons from the community space to the victim or offender conferences. These persons would assist in the process of bringing about some understanding as to why the conflict happened, who erred, and out of that, somebody would accept responsibility, she outlined. After the conference, members of the restorative justice team maintained contact with persons involved in the conflict over a 6-month period to follow up on their progress. So that would assist us to minimize reprisals. So yes, a crime was committed, but because of restorative justice was on it, and they are having conferences with these persons, and they are doing their follow-ups, and the police as well, then the victim would feel comfortable to say that I feel like something is being done, she pointed out. Most times, that is what persons want. They just want to ensure that something is being done, be it from restorative justice or by the police. So we do have the intervention, that community component where we do go out with the restorative justice facilitators and the community liaison officers, and we would continue to ensure that we raise awareness, said Scott. The virtual seminar was part of activities for Restorative Justice Week 2021 from February 1 to 5. The event brought key stakeholders involved in the restorative justice process together to discuss how the method has added value to their work. Get the look, Kevin Downswell, Carry Me. Kevin Downswell has an uplifting message for viewers of his recent effort, Carry Me. The song is delightfully current and a timely reminder in the midst of the COVID chaos that there's always a silver lining. Avid lifestyle readers should know Kevin Downswell typically goes all out for his music videos. This includes his most recent stronger effort that involves several celebrities. Agriculture Minister laud egg farmers on resilience against COVID-19. Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries, Floyd Green, has lauded local egg farmers for their resilience in navigating the challenges to their enterprises posed by the corona pandemic. Green, who was speaking during the Jamaica Egg Farmers Association's annual general meeting at the Hibiscus Lounge in Ocho Rios, St. Anne, recently said despite market fluctuations that saw egg farmers losing out on the usually reliable and lucrative hotel sector, there were still some positives emerging and reasons for optimism. The production of eggs grew by 24.9%, which represents a production level of 208 million eggs. So, despite the challenges, you were still able to grow and support your members, he pointed out. Green said the challenges wreaked by COVID-19 prompted the ministry to intervene to alleviate the impact on stakeholders across the agricultural sector, particularly egg farmers. The minister noted that when the government crafted its buyback program, where farmers were allowed to sell their products to the Rural Agricultural Development Authority for distribution to the local market, we made sure not to leave out our farmers. We crafted out a special facility of $6 million for our egg farmers. They were able to benefit from a ministry program which facilitated a mobile market for members of the Jamaica Egg Farmers Association by utilizing a number of private sector partners, Green added. So what we basically did was we looked at a strategy which enabled the egg farmers to offer the eggs at a special price to help the movement and additional purchase of the eggs, and we worked out a formula where basically the ministry tops up that price for them or ensures that it was feasible. Minister Green said the buyback program was a tremendous success, adding that it may have been the single biggest initiative that saved the egg industry from the COVID-19 pandemic onslaught. He assured that the government has no plans to abandon egg farmers, noting that we will continue on that trajectory of intervening when necessary to protect an industry that also has great nutritional value, noting that eggs are probably the best low-cost source of protein, minerals, and almost all vitamins. Mr. Green said it was imperative to get our population to recognize this and frankly consume more. This is important now more than ever, as when you think about what COVID-19 has done to the world, and as you think about the breaks in our trade cycles and all the other challenges, we have to pay attention to our health and also our food consumption, he stated. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.